Hey there, I'm Kevin Downey, and I run a boutique agency called Kevin M. Downey, where we help B2B companies with their sales and marketing efforts. You can visit our website, which I'm showing you right here on my screen, at kevinmdowney.com. Today's video a little different than most of the videos that I do for YouTube and for publication. Most of my videos are on Prezi and they're short, and I'm kind of big on one side of the screen and show stuff really quick. But this video is actually a screen share to do a B2B email marketing demo. So we're going to walk through all the details on how we set up email marketing for clients, what our program looks like, what it costs, what we're trying to do, the numbers we're trying to achieve, number of leads, things like that. And then the four main keys to email marketing success and how we do that for our clients. Okay. So overall kind of 30,000 foot view, we specialize in what is called one-to-one text-based email marketing that is designed to elicit a response, direct response to drive inbound leads. Okay. So if you're familiar with email marketing and you think Constant Contact or MailChimp and sending out graphical newsletters, that's not something that we do, right? That kind of email is more informational newsletter, announcements, branding, that kind of thing. That's not what we're talking about. Closer to what we do would be what some companies do with their CRM and doing text-based emails, but typically we're going to do it in a very different way because we're running at very high volume for clients, but also we aren't building sequences or trying to tell a story. We're sending a single email that is looking to drive a response. Do you have this pain point? If you do, I can help you solve it. This is what I want you to do next. And that what I want you to do next is eliciting a response. I want you to reply to get this, right? And we'll walk through all of that with the copy and things like that. Okay, let me shrink myself really quick here so it's a little more visible. I'm going to jump off screen. I'm going to go through the program really quick. And that's a PDF, so if for some reason I disappear for some reason when we're recording with Loom. Anyway, program, it's a flat $3,500 a month. We can send up to 6,000 emails a day, 125,000 a month. You get multiple dedicated domains and email addresses that we run. All these are forwarded to a primary email address. It could be a sales executive. It could be a BDR, SDR. It could be a principal in the company, right? But all the leads, all the replies are going to come to a single email address. We take care of all of the DNS settings. I'll show you what that looks like. Domain reputation management, we're running all of that. I'll show you that screen. SMTP email servers, we're running everything through email server structure. All right. And then prospect data, all email lists are included, verified emails only, email copywriting. I'll show you what a sample looks like. And then finally, email campaign system setup and management. We put all our clients on Apollo, but that said, there's other things you certainly could use if you ever wanted to do it on your own. Okay, let's switch over to, this is on the website. It's linked from the website called our sales guide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down to just a particular section right here. 4 keys to B2B email marketing. And this is what I'm going to cover in this video, really. Technical setup, list, format, messaging. We talked about format. We talked about messaging a little. So those are kind of covered, but we'll dig into them a little bit more. But the technical setup and the list are really crucial, right? Okay. So when we talk about technical setup, what do we need to do? Well, the first thing you need to understand, and I'm going to pop up on screen here again, is that remember that you never want to be cold emailing or driving inbound leads using an email address with your main domain, right? If you have the exception to that might be if you have a single rep doing outreach and doing less than 50 a day and you're running reputation management on your main domain, then that's fine. Generally, you'll be able to keep the health high, no problem. And that's not an issue. But otherwise, all cold emailing, whether it's manual or automated, needs to be done from dedicated domains that are registered and held specifically for that task. So for our clients, for example, we run 5 active domains at a time, and we're running reputation management, warmup, and then seed emails for recovery of domains, quick recovery, and all those things. If you don't understand what that means, it just means that we're trying to take care of the health of the domains. Okay. And then, of course, with those 5 domains that we register, we do the DNS settings. So you've got your SPF, your DKIM, your DMARC, all the things that are necessary to basically authenticate or certify your domain with the receiving party email addresses out there, or receiving party email systems out there. Okay. So that's all really, really important. So again, this is what DNS settings look like. This is just a sample. Again, DKIM. If you don't understand what these mean, you can look them up online. It's not really all that interesting. It's just understand that it's basically to certify or authenticate your email, that it's not being spoofed and that it's legitimate and so on and so forth. Okay. So that's your DNS settings. And then this is reputation management. These are domains. This dashboard's all recovery. So these are domains that are either in warm up or recovery. Okay. And so what you can see here is we're always monitoring these. And then we've got another dashboard that is our fully recovered and actively sending domains. Okay. But you can see some that, ours, we've got a couple that are full 99 at this point, and that kind of stuff. But we are doing this at all times for all of our clients' domains. Okay. Domain reputation management is very important. There's two parts of it, technically speaking, right? You've got the warm up process for new domains, which you have to do, right? And getting to full warm up takes a month, but we get going in week 3 with emails. But you're looking at AI-driven emails back and forth, right, for the health of the domain. And then when we're in recovery mode, not only are we doing that, we're also sending seen emails, which are actually manual emails that are being sent, opened, replied to by actual humans to recover the health of domain without doing any cold emailing on it at that time, right? So we're always doing warm up, reputation management, and then of course recovery with domains as necessary, right? And that is to keep the health of the domains really high. Okay. All right. We talked about technical setup, but let's dig into list really quick. Okay. I'm going to have to shrink myself back down here. Okay. So list, targeted list, very, very important. We put all of our clients on Apollo. Their system is really developed over time. It's excellent. Great campaign management system. Data is built in, makes life a lot easier, right? We include all of the data for our clients' campaigns and what we need to do. But if we take a look at a list, just to give you an example of the depth, and we run campaigns and build lists for every kind of B2B company you can imagine, have clients in all kinds of different segments. Their target audiences are all different. We target small business. We target for clients hitting mid-market, enterprise companies, employees, owners, right? It all depends on our client, obviously. So everything is custom. So let's zoom in here a little bit, because this is really one of the most important parts of, oops, I disappeared there for a second. Looks like I disappeared. All right, let's move me back over here. Okay. All right, so if we look at, there's different parts when building a targeted list. Sorry about that delay. The main things, these are kind of the main things. You've got your titles of the people you're going after. In this case, this one is just owner titles, but I'll find one where we're hitting some employees. It can be, we have some clients where the job title count can be 50, 75 different types of titles that we're looking at in targeting employees for their company. But if we're targeting owner titles, typically it's owner, founder, co-founder, partner, CEO, and president, right? We eliminate the VPs. In this case, I'm just showing you an example of the targeting that we do. So we use both industry and keywords, sometimes just one or the other. I'll show you ours, for example, in a second here for a couple of our lists, which are more keyword driven. But in this case, we're looking at industries, for example, restaurants, food and beverages, food production, wine and spirits, and so on and so forth. But they also must have the keyword tied in of restaurant, takeout, carry out, takeaway, delivery. So this group's trying to target restaurants, right? And specifically owners only. Okay. And then we're removing bad data. We've got verified emails only. That is kind of the nuance and the detail that we get into in building targeted lists for our clients. And again, have built, I don't know, to date, somewhere around 1,000 lists for different clients over time in the last 10 years. Even before getting an email, was doing a lot of list building for what we call business development representatives or telemarketers lists to do cold outreach. Right. So been doing this a long, long time. Data now is much different because it's people centric rather than company centric. In the old days, we used to do Info USA, List Giant, things like that. We were very SIC code oriented. And we were getting company information first, right? And then there's phone number, and you had to call and find out who the decision maker is with this, that, and the other thing, right? If you didn't have the, unless you were targeting the owner. These days, it's very different, right? Because we're leading on hitting the people. We've got to have the people information, very important. So that started with your Zoom info. Apollo has come along. They do a great job, but there's lots and lots of sources out there, but it's very people centric, right? So we're getting the companies and defining those in slightly different ways, but we are also defining the people, so that we've got email address and LinkedIn profile and so on and so forth, which is really important. Okay. Targeted list. Why is targeted list so important? Well, we don't want to be sending emails to the wrong people. If we do that, we're obviously going to hurt our domain reputation more. We want to make sure that they're the people that are the right ones to target, and we want engagement. So we want open, we want reply. We even want unsubscribes, right? If we are hitting the wrong person, if they're not interested, if they unsubscribe, that's a good thing. That's an engagement, right? So that helps. So we want to make sure that we're as targeted as possible, and we obviously want to eliminate all bounces to first blocks and those kinds of things, because those also will hurt our domain and IP reputations. Okay, let's take a look at another list. This is a simple one. This is just VCPE, owners only. So this is venture capital, private equity, for example. We want to target that. We're going to use keywords. We could use industry, but they're in a lot of different industries, and it doesn't matter because the keywords are very specific, right? And so we've got 32,000 owners in venture capital and private equity, for example, and partners that we might go after. Right. And then we get into another list. For example, I'm going to show you a different kind of inclusion. So this is B2B owners, and we define that with keywords, for example, and we go 1 to 200 employees because that's more of our audience. And we're looking at using keywords. There's about 140 keywords in here that define that they're a business-to-business type company or business. All right. And then the other thing that we do that's really interesting is we require that they have at least one person in the sales department. Doesn't mean they necessarily have to be a sales representative. It could be a BDR, an SDR. It could be sales support or something like that. But we want to see at least one person in the sales department so that we know that they have the ability to not only use leads, but also respond to leads and follow up with them in a very timely fashion. Okay, so that's how we build that list. So this is just to give you an example of the type of targeting that we can build for any kind of client. And we deal with consultants and manufacturers and distributors, all kinds of different things, service businesses, professional services like us, agencies, thinking IT, cybersecurity, you name it, we can do it if it's in B2B. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at, outside of targeted lists, the last couple of things, let's take a look at our format and our messaging, right? So I want to take a look at and show you what, all right. So this would be a format if we're hitting, like, let's say VCPE. We're looking at this case, I think this is 80 keywords, give or take. 80 words. I mean, not including signature. Ideally, we want emails to be in the 50 to 125 word range. If we get any longer than that, and it's really hard to hold people's attention. There are a lot of pundits out there that will do not just sequences, but they do very long, almost squeeze page, sales page type emails. In the long run, ineffective. First of all, we know from sending 100 million emails to date, who responds to what, right? If we're targeting just owners or if we're targeting just employees and at company size and based on industry, we know from experience what kind of emails get the most response, right? And that's what we're trying to do, is elicit a response. We know that owners, if you're targeting owners only, shorter, very compact is much easier on them. They will read the whole thing to get through from the beginning to the end, right? If we're targeting employees only at mid-market and enterprise, we've got to do a little bit more salesmanship. We get a little bit longer, maybe as long as a couple hundred words sometimes, but that's pretty rare. But that's the kind of thing that we want to do. And remember, we're talking about one-to-one text-based emails from a person to a person designed to elicit a response. Okay, so that's the kind of format that we are looking at. All right, now let's take a look at the actual email copy. I want to read it because this is the last step, and this goes to the messaging, which I just talked about, but I think it's really important to understand, and I've got some more YouTube stuff out there on process and business development, right? So when we do a lot of recruiting for clients as well, and of course I do a fair amount of training of SDRs, BDRs, and sales teams. One of the things when we build process is understand in business to business, everyone has a couple of things. First of all, everyone is busy. That's one thing you have to understand. Like if I ask you, how's business? You say, we're busy. We're all busy. Everyone's busy, right? Everybody's being pulled in so many different directions. Everybody's wearing a lot of hats. Companies don't have time to waste, right? So understand that when you go to them with a cold email, they're trying to protect two things. They're trying to protect their time and they're trying to protect their money. So it is much easier, and I see this when companies come to me with their email copy initially. I see a lot of very long story-driven emails. Again, I see sequences, which I still to this day don't understand. We tried it way back in the day, actually, in the beginning, because we copied everybody else, right? And then we started to say, well, would I do that on a phone call? Because I'm trying to replicate a cold call, right? So your target wants to know what problem you solve, how you solve it, and ideally at what cost before they're going to give you any time, right? So if you go out there with a cold email and you say, hey, we can do this for you, schedule a call with me here, they're not going to bite, right? It's going to be very difficult to get them to move because you haven't really answered the base questions. Now, if you put all of that in email copy, that can then help prep or fulfill their needs and desires to move to a call. But generally speaking, it still doesn't work. We've tried it. We have found this process far more effective, very short to the point. Do you have this pain point? If you do, I can help you solve it. This is what I want you to do next. So let's read through it. Hi. Okay, and we use their name. A quick thing on snippets. If you're familiar with email marketing, this is called a snippet. So we're inserting their name in there. There's a lot of companies that try to use an overwhelming supply or a lot of different snippets to use what we call spin tags to adjust and manipulate the email so it's different all the time. I understand where that comes from, and I understand the purpose of it. The challenge that we run into is, and we've tested it and done it, the problem we run into is they can read through that snippet so easily, and then it becomes somewhat offensive, right? It's like you're trying to con me by putting my company name in there, and some of the time it's the wrong company name because it might be the legal business name rather than the actual DBA. Other things, you might have you pull something out of an article or something like that, right? And then that actually doesn't match up with the company they actually work for. So it can hurt you as much as it can help you. So it's trying to be too crafty for the sake of being crafty. At the end of the day, let's just be straight, direct, and upfront, right? Hi, Johnny, checking to see if you can use someone to generate inbound leads or appointments for you or your sales team. I have experienced remote reps available in the $750 to $2,000 a month range. Can send over profiles of a few along with program info, PDF. Just reply back and let me know you'd like to receive. Okay. And then, of course, if you're interested, we can jump on a quick call. Thanks so much. Look forward to connecting. Done. Okay. This is 80 words, give or take, right? What am I doing here? Can you use this? Do you have this problem, right? Can you use this? If you can, I have it, and this is roughly what I have. I'm qualifying for cost now, not necessarily our agency fee, right? But I am at least telling them what the cost of the reps are, right? Here's what I'm going to do. I want to send over a few along with program info PDF. Remember, PDF is very benign to people. It's not a link. People don't like links. They're taught not to click on links. That's the other thing. Links in email definitely drives down deliverability. It all depends on a lot of things. But we want to give them something, offer them something that is benign, right? So if they reply, right, and I am using the profiles of the reps as, you might call it bait, and saying, hey, you want to look at a few of the reps? Reply back and let me know. So what are we doing in this? We are qualifying for pain point. Now, again, we target only owners, so we don't have to worry about whether or not they're a decision maker. Certainly, we build that into our emails for clients, usually with a PS line that goes below this. It says, PS, hey, if you're not the right person that handles this, if you're the person that doesn't handle this, if you can let me know who the right contact is, I would really appreciate it, right? And a lot of our clients do a lot of decision maker qualification using email through us for their reps and their sales team so that they're not wasting time going through 30 people at a big company in a department to find out who the right contact is, right? So they use email to identify that. So that's another part of this that you can do. In our case, we're only targeting owners, right? So we don't have to worry about qualifying for decision maker. We only have to qualify for pain point. So if you have this pain point, enough that you want to see something, reply back and let me know. What does this do? That tells us that who they are interested, they reply. Now, when they reply, we are going to send that information over and we're going to follow up with them immediately with a phone call, right? That is the ideal circumstance. That's why our best clients for our email marketing program have a rep on staff, whether it's sales, account executive, SDR, BDR, doesn't matter. They've got someone on staff that can reply to leads every day, reply to the leads, put them in the CRM if they need to, call them on the phone. Get to them right away, right? You want to dig in and gather intel because remember, our process is very similar to what we would do on a cold call. We just can't get to people on the phone near as often anymore. So that methodology and strategy does not work as well as using cold email to pull them out and then follow up with them because they're a qualified lead. Because on a phone, what we would have taught in the old days and what I would teach is, hey, John, exact same thing. Can you use a really good rep to generate leads or appointments for your sales team? If you can, I've got reps available. I want to send you over profiles on a few. And then if you're interested after you look it over, I'll give you my calendar. We'll jump on a call. Right. And on that cold call, if I got John on the phone, right, and he said, yeah, Kevin, go ahead, send that to me. No problem. I'm going to say, great, John, I'm sending that over right now. While I have you, though, let me ask you a question. And I'm going to dig in and gather intel and try to move him through the process, right, through our business development and sales process to get him further down the line. Remember, now that we're using cold email, we can't do that. And that's one of the mistakes I see a lot of companies make. They try to go too far in that process with these very long, drawn out emails and sequences. And they keep asking for appointment and asking for appointment. And you're not getting to what people want, right? You want to know, tell me what you can solve and how you can solve it, right? And then I'll look at it. And if I like it, then I'll schedule a call. But now when they say yes, now we send them the stuff, then we follow up with them on the phone so that we can gather intel. We're still not always going to get them on the phone, but we are certainly going to be more efficient and more effective with this kind of email to then pull them out process than we are with just pure straight cold calls and manual emails. Okay? So hopefully that helps. Again, if you have any questions, kevinmdowney.com. You can go through our programs. Let me shrink myself down one more time here. We've got our email marketing program right here. We've got a recruiting program. We do both remote reps as well as territorial sales recruiting. Account in-office account executives, all that kind of stuff. We do all kinds of custom recruiting. We recruit both the United States as well as Latin America, from Mexico and the Caribbean all the way down to Argentina for remote reps. And then, of course, we do some consulting as well. Okay. So if you have any questions, reach out, go ahead, connect, hit the Let's Talk button or go through our contact page. Let us know you need some help and we'd be glad to help you out. Okay. All right. Thanks so much for being here and taking the time. Really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.